We live in what T.S. Eliot once called a desert wasteland. Distracted from distraction by distraction. And despite all of our advancements and achievements, we feel uneasy and isolated because we've lost the truth of our identity, becoming uncertain of our eternal destiny. Who am I? Why am I here? What does my life mean? What would happen if I were to become the man I was created to be? We are lost in the desert of our time, playing around with the idols of stoicism, machismo, ambition, and our own secret sins. But with the Catholic vision, gazing upon the past, we see that our fathers in the faith have been to the desert once before. After centuries of martyrdom and persecution in the early church, upon the conversion of Emperor Constantine in 312, and against every odd, Christianity was legalized and became the religion of the day. Rather than become complacent, holy men and women were summoned by God to the desert, seeking greater union with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. My name is Jamie Baxter, and I am the founder and CEO of Exodus 90, a Catholic apostolate that serves men in becoming uncommonly free. The Desert Fathers endured the challenges and temptations of their own desert wasteland, and by the power of God's grace, conquered the world, the flesh, and the devil. We stand on the shoulders of these giants. Their collective wisdom has endured through the centuries in the sayings of the Desert Fathers and come down to us. These ancient men have so much wisdom to offer us today. That's why I'm excited to announce a new project from Exodus 90 in collaboration with our friend Bishop Erik Varden called The Desert Fathers in a Year, a weekly podcast exploring the ancient wisdom of the desert and the timeless truths these holy men and women discovered in their ancient practice of prayer, asceticism, and fraternity. Over the next year, we will journey together with Bishop Erik Varden through the writings of the Desert Fathers, seeking to understand and apply properly their wisdom to our daily lives in modern times. The Desert Fathers fled to the desert. The modern desert encompasses us. It's as empty, as lonely, and as ominous. Will we, filled with fear, shrink back and become negative and despairing, longing for a Christianity of bygone days? Or will we see the opportunity of the modern desert before us for our holiness and God's loving providence, to become the men and the women that the church and the world so desperately need us to become today?
I'd read about the Desert Fathers, and I'd read a short collection of sayings before I joined the monastery. But it was when I was in the novitiate that I realized just how important this body of literature is. These sayings, almost always dialogues, a young monk coming to an older monk, having a problem, having a query, a quandary, and asking, "Father, how can I live with this? What can I do about this?" And I found the answers to be so penetrating and so true and so timeless, and often disconcertingly addressing precisely what was going on in my own heart, that I found them tremendously helpful. I still find them helpful, and I think they'll be helpful to others. In so many ways, the modern world, particularly the modern city, resembles a desert. We can see that very clearly, and there's a task waiting for us there. I'm convinced that many of the practical lessons that we find in the Fathers are applicable and useful as we engage with loneliness, which haunts so many people, with an overstimulation of the senses, with a pace of life that seems overwhelming, with poverty, which is a real feature of our modern societies. We don't necessarily need to go out into Sinai to find ourselves in waterless places. They surround us everywhere. The important thing is to dig for wells where we happen to be, and to be certain that the water of life can and will reach us there, and then when we find it, to share it generously. Now, all of us like to embark on a new year with good resolutions. Resolutions are excellent as long as they're realistic and as long as they are sustainable. We talk a lot about sustainable energy these days, which is good. That holds for the spiritual life as well. So my advice would be to set realistic, manageable goals and to make a determined decision to stick with them. You might even want to make a determined resolution to stick with this program, see what it brings, to see whether, if you follow it to the end, you might discover something that you won't perhaps discover just in the first couple of episodes. Because even as God in his supreme and mysterious providence chose to reveal himself gradually over thousands of years to humanity, so in our own lives he makes his grace and his glory known gradually. And the key, in order not to miss out on something crucial there, is to be patient, to be persevering, and to have hope.
You can listen to Desert Fathers in a Year on the Hallow app, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Take the first step toward discovering greater freedom in Jesus Christ today. Please visit desertfathers.com to learn more.